the next question is, have you ever considered or have you ever tried your competing in the mixology competition once upon a time? Or was it flair all the way back in the day?
I would have loved to compete at some point, but when I've been kicked out from this mixology bar in my early career wanting to learn, I said to myself, okay, I want to stick to flair. I'm just going to stick to one subject, flair bartending, and I stick to it. I never had the need to
compete, to join.
To join a mixology competition. And so no, I never had I would have, it could have been fun, but to me, during all my career, it always was about winning. I was obsessed with winning.
Mega shout out to Skill Media TV, Marlu of UST, Jasavala. Mega shout out to everyone. So let's wait for our guest, and maybe in 5 minutes we can start. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to Toma Sessions Live with me, Richie, your host. And tonight promises to be an epic night as we host one of the legends of flair bartending. Oh, and he is here. Shout out Willie from Philly. Hello, bonsoir from the Philippines.
Hi, Richie, how are you?
How are you, Nicolas? Finally. Very good. Nice to see you and have a chat with you here in Toma Sessions.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How's my audio? Is my audio good? Clear? Loud and clear? Okay. Yep. Clear. Okay, so we're just welcoming everybody that's coming here. Vitaly Volkov is here. Welcome, my friend. And then who else? Okay. So where are you now? Are you in France right now as we speak?
No, I'm in Spain, in Malaga, in the south of Spain.
Malaga. Okay. Is that where you're based now?
Yeah, that's where I live now. Bought my house, 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
My wife, my 2 kids, and my 3 dogs.
Okay, so that's where the Flair Motion, is that where you set up Flair Motion before?
No, I lived in London for 13 years, and I set up Flair Motion in it's a long time ago, 2004. That was the year I opened, if I think right. 2004 is when I opened Flair Motion, my company in the UK, but I closed it in 2010 or 12 as I left. And now I'm just going by the name, my own name, Nicolas Saint-Jean. This is what I go around with. And Flair Motion was just the name of my school crew at the time with Florian Beren and Elias Koussis. And it's kind of gone for now. It's just like, I prefer to go solo and to do my own thing. So, but will always be, Flair Motion will always be like this freestyle team that went around.
Yeah. Well, that's actually one of the things that the Filipinos here also recognize or know about you. Okay, so I think we can start. So let me introduce our guest, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very brief actually. He is a 4-time world champion. Me personally, I always teach or show his video of the Cuba Libre in the True Originals, because I do have in my bartending class when I teach about classic cocktails, one of which is the Cuba Libre and how to do a twist with it. So the Cuba Libre is always part of that. And King of the Ring is where he actually, for me, he actually made an impact. Ladies and gentlemen, well, also he values quality over quantity, which we'll know more about that as we go along. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Nicolas St. John. All right. So, thank you, Nicolas. Again, welcome to Toma Sessions. It's an honor to have you here. So, maybe we can start by giving us a background. So, how did you start? How long is your career basically up until now?
I started in 1996 when I moved to London with the dream of becoming a bartender. Then I was a waiter for 6 months. Then after that, I was a barback for another 6 months, and I juggled a job at the same time. As a bartender, but the job as a bartender was very, basic. I was learning English at the same time as I was learning bartending, so it was easy. The job was very easy, very slow, so I had time to do both. Then I was already flaring at home in my bedroom, not a house, bedroom, which I was sharing with friends, and but I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know what to learn. I just didn't know what move to do. I had no idea, really. I didn't have any understanding on how the liquid work when applying liquid in a bottle and applying moves to this bottle. So after that first jobs, waiter and bartender in a basic pool bar, I started in the O Bar in Soho in London. As a bartender, I lied to get in. I used to say, I said I was a bartender in a cocktail bar in Paris, which was pretty not true. So, and I said I used to do non-alcoholic cocktails. So when they used to say to me, like, how do you know how to make mojitos and stuff? I was like, yeah, no, because in my bar, which was like, we only do non-alcoholic cocktail. But anyway, they gave me a shot, and I got the job because I was super motivated and I was a hard worker. And there I had the chance to meet people like Steve Locke, which was the world champion in tandem from TGI Fridays back in the days, with Lee Miller, who was the 3 times world champion. Who was also in tandem with Steve Locke, and I was also the 3 times world champion in solo. And also I worked with Rhys Holyfield. And Paul Mason came to visit me a few times, and he had an amazing style, which a lot of people often associate my style with one move, which is the pam-pam, like this over pam-pam, the ball and shaker. And this move actually comes from Paul Mason. I just made it my own by practicing it, but he was doing it a lot. I just carried on his legacy with that move, let's just say. What else? That's it. I spent 3 years in the O Bar, working as a flair bartender. After 6 months working in the O Bar, I got a call from my manager telling me that somebody from Switzerland was looking for a show that they saw me in the bar, and I was like, okay. They said, yeah, I'm going to give you that number. They're going to call you. And the company was Cartier Jewelry. They called me to do yeah. And nice. They asked me, they said, so how much is it for 5 days of working? You know, it's going to be like in a cabaret style. I said, like, well, I don't know. It was the first time I was negotiating contract. And I gave them a price, and they were like, okay, no problem. I was like, shit, no, I should have said more. And I was like, no, wait. It was too late, but it was cool. So I went there. I flew first class for my first job. I had a driver to pick me up from the hotel anytime I wanted to leave and bring me back. And I remember at this point, I said to myself, okay, if I do it, it has to be a sure decision. So I said, okay, take your decision now. Think about it. Are you going to be a professional flair bartender? Are you going to turn this hobby as a
Profession.
profession? And then I said to myself, if you do say yes, you cannot turn your back on it. And I say, okay. And then I never look back, and I stick to it till this day. And I since then lived from sponsorship, competition sponsorship. And my first sponsorship was Red Bull. Then I had Smirnoff a little bit. I had also, who else did I have? Sputnik, Midori also for quite a long time. And I'm sponsored by the Kuiper for the past nearly 10 years now. So as their World Flair Ambassador, which is the best job you could dream of it's the best job you could dream of as a flair bartender, believe me. So I've got freedom to do a lot of videos and creative videos, and I'm really blessed for that. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So let's go to the basic question. So Nicolas St. John is a bartender, a flair bartender, or a mixologist?
Well, I'm sure you already know the answer. They're all the same for me. So I'm flair.
Yes, I mean this just for because that's always the never-ending question. But of course, you are a flair bartender. But I mean, in terms of but how would you personally, on a scale of 1 to 3, okay, which comes first? Okay, let's say after being a flair bartender, which comes next?
I think because of my level of flair and what I've done for flair, I am mainly recognized as a flair bartender. I think that I've been that good in the past as a flair bartender that whatever cocktails I could have been making has been always overshadowed, because nobody wanted to see me do a drink back in the days. I was mainly employed to do shows, and this is the absolute truth. So I remember in London, I after being a flair bartender, like doing shows, practicing after 3-4 years, I went to a mixology bar to work there in 23 Romilly Street in Soho. I had the job, but I was hated by all the mixologists, and I was hated not because I was flairing. I was hated because I wanted to learn mixology. Okay? So it's like no, you're already very good in flair. Why do you want to come in our field now and learn mixology? So I could sense it was a fear of he's going to be also good in mixology and in flair, so it's going to be double trouble for us. And it was a lot of hate towards me at that point. I mean, look, it's really hard because I'm talking about myself, but my level of flair was on another level back in the days, and by far. And because I was the first one who really took it seriously. Now, you could have different type of opinion from everybody else, but I know what I've done. I was there, I was the one on stage. I saw the reaction of the people. I saw the competition out there. I saw the people who were there against me back in the days in 2000, for example. And nobody was bringing new moves like I did. Everybody was just picking up moves from my routines eventually, or using moves from back in the days, but nobody took it that seriously back in the days. So if you think of myself, yeah, for sure you would think Nicolas, the hat or the beanie, always wearing a hat, always wearing a beanie. This is my signature style.
Yeah.
But I've been working, for example, I don't know if people know, but I've been working as a judge for the final of the Bacardi Legacy.
Yes, exactly.
In Miami, so wasn't flaring, I was judging drinks. The best bartenders in the world, I was there to judge their cocktails. I did the same in Australia, final in Sydney.
Yes, Australia.
In Paris, judging the French and the Italian final. I've judged numerous cocktail mixology. I spent a lot of time surrounded by mixologists after over the years. But again, I think it's really hard for people to imagine me doing a drink or work in a bar, which I've done anyway. But people will always picture me as coming into a bar to a show and leave. Right. So
Yes,
it depends. It depends. You know, if you have a guest shift somewhere, you work, and then you do your show, and then you work, and then you finish your shift like any other bartender. I worked in clubs for 7 years back in London, and I was working, and when I finished my shift, I would go home, I would practice, and I would get ready for a competition. I wasn't flaring all the time behind the bar. So, I mean, I love making cocktails, but I always raise to the situation, my level to the situation. Depend for who I work, what kind of ingredients I have. If I work in a place and if I do a guest shift in the bar where you have like shaved ice, rock ice, cubed ice, whatever, you're never gonna flare the same that if you work in a disco club where you're only gonna serve a vodka Red Bull, for example. Okay, it's not the same music that's gonna be played. It's not the same customers. It's not the same age from the customers. So I would say like a good bartender always adapts to the place he works in. Like, and it's really, if you work in a nightclub, you're gonna have live music. If you work in a 5-star hotel, you're gonna have like very settled jazzy music in the background. The vibe is totally different. So you're not gonna be throwing bottles. People are looking for neatness and even craft flair as we call it. This is just flair at the hotel.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. It doesn't even need to be. Could be also over the top. I mean, if you want to make a drink, purely make a drink, you've got so many tools to entertain your guest. The first tool to entertain your guest is yourself. If you have a good personality, this personality is going to show through your way of working. That could be just speaking, smiling, making a joke, or making a flair move, or the way you shake. I think personally this is how it starts. I mean, I see a lot of people overdoing many things these days to try to shine and to be different. And my opinion on this is just, I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know. I think you walk. Look, you make a drink at home. When you make a drink at home, it's very simple. When your friends come around, they don't expect me, my friends, to throw a bottle in the air.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
expect me to. They don't care the truth. They just want to say, "Oh, so I'm gonna have like 10 friends coming around for a birthday or a special occasion, and they're gonna say like, oh, did you know that Nicolas is a bartender?" It's like, okay, so it's gonna make me a nice cocktail. It's exactly what it is. It's not gonna be like, oh yeah, wait to see his tricks.
Yes.
Oh, so then I make a nice whiskey sour or mojito, whatever. And like, oh my god, amaretto sour, things that they don't know. Aguacate, avocado martini, or something. Oh my god, it's so different. I never tried. You don't need to go into infusion, special sugar and burning the canela. No, you don't need to do all of this. But people appreciate a nice looking cocktail, nice tasty, and the way of making it, you don't realize that when you make a cocktail for a friend or for people that don't know anything about bartending, they already appreciate the way you hold the bottle, the way you pour. They find it already very stylish. They can see that you're trained. And this to them is quality. It's like when you see a chef in a kitchen cutting an onion or mixing, you're like, oh, he has the touch. You've been doing this all your life. When you take it to another level and you do shows, it's totally different, of course. It's a special occasion. But you're not gonna be flaring all the time. But if I used to spend so many of my jobs doing just shows, obviously I was focusing. People would focus more into Nicolas. This is what he does. He does special show, and I would always enjoy as an artist putting on a show, choosing the music. When I was working, for example, in events like in Saint-Tropez, I remember going for a private event. The day before, I would be in the fruit market, choosing my fruits, making my puree at home. And the next day when I was going to the event, people see me with a big bag And when I arrived in the event, they thought in the bag was full of empty bottles for the show. And in fact, the bag was filled up with puree, fresh puree with mini freezer, and
Yeah, nice.
But it's okay.
Okay, well that's a interesting take from you. So guys, now you've heard it. It's just our first question, and we've already learned a lot from Nicolas. So actually, this leads me to my second question. What was the first cocktail you made? The very first cocktail you ever made? Do you remember?
Don't remember. Wait. First cocktail. Damn. I don't know. Remember? Maybe a sex on the beach.
Okay. Because that was in a club, most likely.
Yeah, that was in a club, and we had this cocktail list, and during happy hour we would do jugs of cocktails. We had like the Singapore Sling, long iced tea. A lot of different cocktails. And I remember the long iced tea actually. I used to love the long iced tea, and then it became very unpopular for a very long time. A lot of people used to tell me that long iced tea is a terrible drink.
It actually is good. Yes.
If you do it right, it's a very, very nice cocktail. Very fresh.
Yeah.
You don't need to top it up with much color on top. It's beautiful.
No. Okay.
But no. There made so many cocktails I wouldn't remember the first one.
All right. So okay, let's move to the present then. So as a brand ambassador for the Kuiper, what's your top 3 cocktails that you like making using these flavors of the Kuiper?
Yeah, well, I love the amaretto. I love apricot brandy. There's so many lemongrass also cocktails, so beautiful. They have a huge range of liquor that you have at your disposition to make beautiful cocktails. It really depends on the moment, the truth. I have so many to choose from. It really depends on your mood, where you are, and what you feel like. I don't have a specific cocktails. I like to try many of them. I like simple ones. I like the one you just have like one main alcohol, a modifying agent, like the liquor, for example, lime or lemon, and a dash of fruit or something like this. It's enough. I don't like to mix it up. I don't like to mix up too many alcohol in the drink. When it's about drinking, I like classics. Classics is what stays, and they stay for a very good reason because they don't go out of fashion. And a lot of drinks that we see these days are just a variation of many classics. It's just always a twist. It's always a twist with an infusion, with a new ingredient found in the Amazonia. It's just a, you know what I mean. It's just like I'm very simple and I'm very down to earth. So when I listen to all those fancy drinks and ways of shaking, and then to me it's a show. And it's always good to try a little different taste. But in terms of creativity, I don't think in cocktails we borrow a lot from kitchen, and a lot of flavors already existed in kitchen, and by many chefs already created so many of those flavors. And this is where we take our inspiration. And I think the bartenders these days are becoming like a liquid chef to some
to some extent.
Yeah, but maybe sometimes we take it too far and we forget about just the basics and serving the guest, making them happy with what you have at home. Because at the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. Not everybody has the luxury to go to an amazing place and to spend a lot of money into those beautiful cocktails. It's not that simple. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. right, so let's go back again to flair. How did you know that you had the body or the coordination for flair? Because
The body of
the body or the coordination, because not every person is built for flair. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That's my opinion. But how did you know that? Okay, I think I'm going to be good in flair because my left and my right are cooperating and my moves and
So,
imagination.
This is a very interesting question, and I'm going to answer with a metaphor and with another question back to you. Do you think everybody is fit to love, for love? Are we all fit for love? I think we are all fit for love. I mean, I think when you truly love something, you'll find your way. I think when you don't find yourself very fit for something, it's because you give up already before you try too hard, because you don't like it so much to go through that much pain to keep on going. I don't know if I was fit for flair. I never knew if I was fit for flair. All I knew is that I wanted to be free, I wanted to travel, and I wanted to be the best in something. And I wanted to live the best life ever with what I've had. I wanted, you know what was always my motivation? I've always been thinking of those people who actually, more than no coordination, have just one hand. Or those people that are extremely poor and they have so many problems, they don't even have time to consider even flaring. So I've always been thinking of those people, these people that would look at me in my country, wasting my time watching TV, and they would be, I could see them when I was younger looking at me and judging me and saying like, wow, if I had what you have, I surely wouldn't be watching TV. I would do something else. You are wasting your life. I didn't have that chance to have to wear. I didn't have the chance to be born like you and to have this opportunity. And you're wasting it. And I always felt that if I didn't do anything in my life from everything that I've been blessed with, then yes, I think I would have. It would have been a mistake. So for me, my motivation always came from loving truly what I'm doing. And I think I always say that I don't believe in talent. It's hard work that creates this illusion of talent that comes later, and you're surprising everybody and they're like, wow, he's talented. Yeah, no, he practiced hard. And yes, look, I was raised in the countryside, in the village. I was outdoor every day. I would be playing in the woods, making weapons with wood sticks and knives, and I would be always outdoor. I was raised in the countryside. I had no friends. My friends were imaginary. I would be in my head. I would escape in my head, making those weapons and playing alone. And that became a strength. So I think my strength and my coordination, I've practiced it when I was young, and my capacity of concentration, I practiced it when I was young because I was creating this imaginary world and where everything was possible. So I think when I went behind the bar and I held for the first time a bottle and a shaker, and I saw the bottle made of glass and the shaker made of iron, and both of them had a different shape and feel, and I knew that flair bartending was nothing yet, I was like, hey, this is an opportunity for me to do something that's never been done before. I could become the best, I could make a job out of this, and if not, I will only be better than my bartender is next to me with more skills. But if I'm really good, I could become the client ordering the drink. So in my eyes, I had nothing to lose.
Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Yep, of course, it's all about love. In fact, that's why my hashtag also is I love bartending. So through sickness or health, you stick with that. Okay, so my next question would be, if you weren't a flair bartender, what would you have been?
I think maybe a skateboarder.
Okay, okay. So you love
Yeah, maybe
So you-
b-boy or maybe psychiatrist.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting. But you still skate. Do you skate now? Do you have a skateboard now?
I have a long board,
Okay, okay.
and I have two big dogs, so I go sometimes and I have their leash and they're pulling me.
Yeah, they pull you. Okay, okay. All right. So let's now go to the flair battle. Okay. So or the practice battle. So what's your opinion about a bartender using the flair battle behind the bar while it's service time or practicing during service time?
What do you mean flair battle? What do you mean behind
Well, because normally,
flair
like,
bottle.
yeah, flair bottle. So, like, supposed to be a flair bottle is practice, right? It's for practice. And what's your take on that being used behind the bar, for example?
Yeah, I think it's about the vibe. It's about the vibe you're giving to people. I think we are going too much into details.
Yeah.
I think if I'm sitting as a customer, I'm happy, and somebody starts flaring, and that makes me unhappy, then the bartender should stop. I think the bartender should read his guest. The quality of good bartender is to see and ask himself that if what he's doing is bothering somebody or not. It's like juggling. It's like juggling behind the bar. Is it good or is it bad? A practice bottle behind the bar. It doesn't really matter what I think. It doesn't matter what people think. It's what the people witnessing behind the bar feel as a customer, because this is the bartender's job to read their guest. So if I'm a customer, I'm sitting and the guy is juggling 3 bottles. If that puts a smile on the customer's face, that's cool. Then I can keep going. If I'm practicing with one plastic bottle behind the bar, and the customer really appreciate the art form behind, it's like, oh, that's so cool. And he's not bothered that it's not glass. He's actually comfortable because it's not going to break, and it makes him feel more comfortable to watch the show. It's okay. There's no such a rule. Look, it's like the X game. X game.
Yeah, I know it.
Right. And
Yes.
there's the X game now. They've done this with Tony Hawk, I think. David Pastrana. They created the Nitro Circus.
Okay. I know David Pastrana, the one with the BMX,
Right.
the BMX bike. Yeah.
He created the Nitro Circus, and this, for example, you know when you do the big jump with the skateboard, like the big air.
Yes.
There's a very long ramp, and then they fly in the air for like 2, 3, 4 seconds, and they land very far away, right? My point is like they changed the landing. They made like a gum, more supple, more. It's like a practice bottle behind the bar.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, if it's better for the show, who cares?
Why not? Yes. Who cares? Yes. Yes.
It's like, because do you think we would care if this plastic bottle was transparent and looked like glass?
No.
So what?
Well, it depends. It depends. Well, the reason I'm asking you is because, of course, like for our listeners, because sometimes it's a good take that, of course, it's not about what you think, but it's about what the guest thinks.
Absolutely.
But then again, of course, being a legend as you are, people maybe want to hear and see what a person like Nicolas St. John thinks about these little things. Of course, basically it's like two people discussing things in detail, but at the same time, there might be people listening who will take inspiration from that or pick something up. You know what I mean. So that's why.
So you can, yes. So to answer this question in a very professional manner, I would say, young bartenders, yes, you can flair with a practice bottle behind the bar. It won't change anything. If the customer is bothered, if you feel that when you're flaring that it's a problem because the customer feel like, oh, but you cannot do it with glass, or this is inappropriate. If you do feel this way, which is most unlikely, but if you do feel this way, then stop. Does it look more professional to flair with a glass bottle than a plastic bottle? It might look maybe more elegant because of the style of the practice bottle. Looks more like a toy these days, so it doesn't look transparent and it doesn't look like a real glass at the moment. If they wear, it would make no difference to the customer. What about if we had unbreakable glass bottle? That would be kind of a practice bottle that cannot break, but it's not. So I think if you have the choice and if you have the control, it's always better to keep the practice bottle in the prayer room and to take the real bottle behind the bar. But you need to be in control to do this because you don't want to try a move that is totally out of your level, and when it lands on the bar, it breaks in two because you use the real bottle. And when you take a plastic bottle, it's not going to break, but it might bounce, but at least you're saving the customer's life. So you need to see, it's bad. Your skill as a bartender is to have common sense and to read your customers, to read your mood, to look at the lighting. Do you have enough light? Listen to the music. Is it appropriate? Do I have too many guests waiting for me to serve them a cocktail? There's so many things you need to take in consideration when you work as a bartender to be productive and to make sense in your service. So don't forget, as a bartender, you work as a mediator to the bar. People are looking at you to set the ambience like a DJ in the place. If you are looking very sad and stressed, people are going to feel the same. They're not going to feel extremely welcome. But if you feel happy and smiling because you learn how to smile because you're a professional bartender and you wait for your guests, and when the customers come to the guests, they're going to feel happy and glad to stay, and they're going to want to find a seat and sit down here because you're sending them a good vibe. So I really believe this is what this is about. You are in control, and you should always be in control before your mind should be in control of everything you do, before your hands, before it's your mind that control, and it's your hand that translates what your mind is saying.
What his mind is thinking.
Okay, so if you're feeling in control, you're going to give quality. If you don't feel in control, no matter if it's a drink, if it's a flair move, if it's a smile, it doesn't matter if it's glass, if it's plastic, it's you're selling what you're doing as a cool thing, as the correct thing. If you're making a cocktail that is a very good cocktail, you show your skill as a good cocktail maker, and you make this beautiful brown bottle, and then you beautiful garnish, and you give it to the customer, and then you pick up a bottle and say, look, I have a move for you. And you take a plastic bottle and you make just a quick move like this, or you balance it on the edge. It's like, well, what? It's like, oh no, how can you do this? And it's cool. It doesn't matter if it's plastic and it's glass. Maybe they would say, can you do it with a glass bottle? Yeah, of course. But they don't want to take any risk, but yeah, of course. So where are you from? And then you keep on going. And this is what it's about.
All right. Okay, guys. So you heard that from NSJ. Okay. The next question is: have you ever considered, or have you ever tried your competing in the mixology competition once upon a time, or was it flair all the way back in the day?
I would have loved to compete at some point, but when I've been kicked out from this mixology bar in my early career wanting to learn, I said to myself, okay, I want to stick to flair. I'm just going to stick to one subject, flair bartending, and I stick to it. I never had the need to
compete, to join.
To join a mixology competition. And so no, I never had I would have, it could have been fun, But to me, during all my career, it always was about winning. I was obsessed with winning. So if I didn't feel I was going to win a mixology competition, I didn't see the point. In my head, for you to understand, what came first was winning, not sharing experiences. I didn't care about anything else. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to kill everybody. In my mind, I came as a killer, professional flair killer. I came to destroy you. That was my goal. I wanted to make it clear. And I knew with flair, even if I lost, everybody would have seen it. Everybody could see, all the crowd could see who was better. Even if they put me number 2, whatever. But I also knew that in mixology, if you lose, not all the crowd is tasting your cocktail. Not everybody can say like, oh no, you should have won because we all tried it. That was the best cocktail. But I knew in flair, you couldn't lie. In flair, you couldn't lie. It was like, yes, it's the best. It's clear. No, he didn't deserve. It's clear. And that's the thing that even if someone make you lose, they'll be like, yeah, no, but that was for me the favorite one. I tasted his flair. That was the best. But in terms of cocktails, it was so difficult and subjective in terms of judgment that I felt like, no, I have too many possibility of not winning. It's not for me. So maybe these days I would consider it more if I had the desire, because I'm not so much into winning anymore, but into mixology, for example. But no, just for that reason, really, mainly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. I've always seen that in you when I mean from the videos and the competitions, you really had that killer instinct. It's like it's all or nothing, you know. We see that, and it's like a Mamba mentality. It's like a Kobe Bryant type of thing, you know. So
it's a good and a bad thing, but it's true.
Yes, exactly. It's a double-edged sword. In fact, well, okay. So going back, okay. So now it's the present, right? Would you have stayed the same, having the same killer instinct, or being like, let's say, sharing the experience first, or rather than being a killer?
I couldn't choose. I couldn't choose. It's just, it's like for me, I was thrown into war. I didn't have the choice. In my head, it was I was made to be that way. I was my life set up to where it leads me to competition. Everything I lived personally led me to become that guy. It was a way to protect myself, to kill everybody. It was
survival.
It was survival. And it's like I have to win. I was you know what? Actually, when there's one time I lost when I was in Dubai against Jos Malila. When I lost against Jos, it was in 2000, I think. I went and I said to everybody, like, do you think I win? Do you think I win? People will tell me, like, they knew I was really eager to win, but they didn't want to lie. And because I was so in your face, they found it really hard to lie, but I would come and say, do you think I win? The way I would ask them, do you think I win, was nearly like, you better say yes, but. And then they said, do you think I win? Do you think I won? Do you think I won? And they'll be like, yeah, I don't know, Nicolas. It's like, I was really mad. And then we go to see another one to make me feel better. I said, do you think I win? He said to me, no, I don't think so. And when I saw Jos Malilak from Bali, the way he was flaring, and he did this 2-1 shaker, I had so many more moves. But my flair was very aggressive and very edgy and very powerful in a sense. And his flair was very happy from the islands. And it was technical, but it was so full of flowers and love. And it was like, wow, it was a totally different style. And I was like, he really knew how to put on a show. And he actually did exactly what I'm telling you about the plastic bottle or glass bottle.
Yes.
He read the crowd and he read the customers better. The crowd and the judges better. Sorry, and he won because he deserved it. Technically, the way he put on the show, and he was a better showman. And this is the time I've learned the most in my career. But my instinct and my goal of being the best was so clear that I said to myself in my private thoughts, I will wait the day he dies to take his number one spot. I would wait. Yeah, I was thinking, like, even if he keeps on flaring for 50 years, I will stay alive. But one day I will be this guy will become number one out of default because he's not there anymore. But I will be number one. It's a mentality, and this is what I wanted to win. There's just nothing else that matters for me. And if you say to me, like, would you have loved to be different? Who wouldn't have loved to? You need to understand, when I used to go out in competition, when you win a competition, your life is very different than when you finish 5th or 6th.
Yes.
Because when you finish 6th, 5th, 10th, you're friends with everybody.
Yes.
Everybody's going to get drunk and everybody team up. When you're on top of the pyramid, you're alone. You have the best view, but you're alone. And everybody else is trying to bring you down. So you have a lot to keep. Also, you have to stay very secret because you've been eaten with this disease of winning. It's in you. You were born to win or to want to win, and you were made this way. So, yeah, of course, at some point I would have loved to be able to relax more.
Okay, Simon Bodini had a comment. I'm sure you know Simon Bodini. He said, that's why I was friend with everyone.
That's why I was a friend with everybody.
Hi, Simone. Okay, now that's I mean, this talking to you here in this show is really an eye opener even for the guys. Of course, it's rarely okay. The last time I saw you in an interview was with Tom Dyer a few months ago, right? In his Instagram also.
Yeah.
But of course, that was also like more into flair and technical, but not really general and your point of view about. I mean, it may be. That's the thing with Toma sessions or this show. Sometimes the smallest things matter because especially at this time that we have, we get any inspiration we can from anyone, and especially those who have made an impact in the industry, such as you. So. That killer instinct is really something also. I mean, I can relate with everything that you said also. Like, of course, when you're up there, yes, you're up, but then again, you don't really know if you have that many friends after that top place. But let's move forward. As the Kuiper brand ambassador, so how does the day look like? I mean, what's your day like as a brand ambassador for the Kuiper, especially at this time?
Well, I'm very fortunate because I have a very I'm in control of what I have to deliver. So
flexible. You have flexibility.
Yes, that's right. So you have a lot of brand ambassador these days. You have a lot of mixologist ambassador. You don't even say you say brand ambassador.
No, just brand ambassador.
But I don't think you have any flair ambassador.
Well, for a brand, I really wouldn't know. I mean, maybe it's just you.
I don't know any other person in the world that has my job, to be honest. I'm not a mixology flair ambassador. I'm a flair brand ambassador. And what I do is create videos promoting the brand online. This is what I'm focusing on and looking for new ideas all the time and new moves, and try to keep the new generation inspired with keeping in mind what it's like to be a bartender and to keep it fun. So my job is really close to the bartender itself. I have this freedom with the brand so far, and have been having this freedom for the past 10 years to inspire bartenders doing exactly what I feel is right, which is like making a flair move, making a cocktail, and that's it. That's it. I don't have any specifics.
But
So my days will be I wake up, I'm going to train. Maybe I train for 2 days doing just creating new moves or practicing old moves, doing a bit of gym, doing a bit of flair and gym, mixing both at the same time to keep in shape. There's a big difference between as a flair brand ambassador, it's very different as a mixology ambassador, because what I need to keep alive is my body and my mind. Because if I'm training flair when I'm 20, or if I'm training flair and then I'm past 40, it's totally different. So I need to put as much effort into my physical training as into my flair moves and flair training. So this is how you keep alive, and this is how you keep on going. How old is the oldest flair bartender, professional flair bartender?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I think I'm in the top 5 for sure. Right. So this is why you become special, because you've made it that far. Making it that far, you become special. Special just because you made it that far.
You make it that far. Yes.
How many people after 40 would still believe in being a flair bartender? All right. This is hard. This is a hard decision. Mentally, it's extremely hard decision.
Exactly.
A lot of people, not so hard if you want to be a mixologist. You can keep going. That's why you see a lot of bartenders that become as normal bartenders, become flair bartenders, and then evolve into being mixologists.
Yes.
I haven't done this transition. I'm still a flair bartender, inspiring flair bartenders. So my words, maybe for a brand like the Kuiper, means a lot in this sense. Talking to bartenders directly through videos and moves. Being this person that keeps on going with quality and longevity, having a legacy for the bartenders to come, the young generation. I just want to give hope to bartenders, showing them that you can be flairing for a very long time if you put your body and mind into it. And I will never be more grateful than I am today to have the luxury to have such a sponsorship as the Kuiper to embrace my philosophy. It's a blessing for me, and I'm really aware of it. And until the day that ceases, I will be always extremely grateful. You can't believe me. Very, very grateful. I know I worked hard to be where I am today. I know that. And but remember what I told you. It's not an easy path, because with age comes doubt. And as you know, and obviously, sometimes when you doubt yourself too much, you take the wrong decision. You know. So
exactly.
This is what comes with being a flair bartender over a certain age. You need to stay focused and still believe in yourself. So if you were asking what is the life of a mixology ambassador, it would tell you like is to create new drinks. Create new drinks, present new drinks on the video. But it's exactly the same for a flair bartender. The only difference is like I bring new techniques, new moves, new ideas, new videos, artistic videos, try to inspire. Going back through classic moves, basic moves, advanced, inspiring moves, once in a lifetime move, and to keep it real and to not fall for quantity over quality because it's too easy, and I see this too often on Instagram, and I still refuse to do that. So you can see my post. I post maybe sometimes every day, sometimes every week, whenever I feel like it's right, and I have something to say with my hands. Otherwise, I keep it for myself.
Exactly. Okay, so like as you were saying about working out, do you focus more on your cardio or weights? Do you do weight training or just cardio? Because for your body type, I mean, I don't know if this question is I mean, if it makes sense. But normally, if you say gym, are you more focused on having muscles or just a toned body, or work on your cardio at that specific age?
I think when you're a flair bartender and you've been a flair bartender professionally for many years, you already have the body you were supposed to have. Okay? As you're getting older, your body is going to point weaknesses in your body that you need to reinforce. Those weaknesses comes from, as a flair bartender, shoulders become weaker, your back can become weaker, your legs, your articulations, your tendon becomes weaker. So you need to reinforce this with more muscle. Depends on the lifestyle that you have as a bartender, as a human being. Depends what you're eating. This is totally different. And that is how you take it seriously, and that is about how you eat. If you eat healthy, if you don't smoke, if you don't drink, which is my case, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I go run every 2-3 days. I go run. Sometimes I run after every 2 days. I run for 40 minutes. In the evening, I go running. Cardio is extremely important, but if you don't smoke and you don't drink, I hardly drink. The truth, I hardly drink. If I drink, it's because I'm going to be out with my friends once in the moonlight, and when I drink, it's true that I drink a lot. But I don't drink. I drink a lot or I don't drink. So it hardly happens. I have a full bar in my basement, and I don't drink. And so don't smoke, don't drink, and you eat healthy. Your cardio is going to be there. You go running a little bit, be there. But yes, it's extremely important. It's a good question. You need to work in the cardio, of course, and the muscle. You need to reinforce. You need to reinforce your body in order to support better your shoulders, your back, your knees, your legs, because with time, articulations get weaker, and this is the first thing that's going to bother you and it's going to hurt you with time. Give an example: the shoulder needs to be reinforced very quickly. Otherwise, you get into if you train shoulders, when you do shoulder training, I'm not an expert, but they will always tell you don't put too much weight because articulation, shoulder is very fragile. So you need to work on the shoulder, but don't put too much weight, right? Okay. You need also need to keep in mind that you're not 20. I'm not 20. I'm still fast, but I need to be careful. And you need to stretch more, for example. Warm up, and after that's it.
Okay.
But it has to come naturally. You need to want to. It's part of the deal.
All right. Okay, so we might get cut in the next 2 minutes. So let me be quick with last 2 questions for you. The next question would be: so what is your prediction about what's going on, especially in Malaga? So the current situation that we have, the pandemic. So what's your prediction? Do you have any wish list or something?
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, to be honest with you. More than a prediction, I will give an advice to all bartenders. Do whatever you have to do to survive. Don't hesitate to change job to survive. I know a lot of people that don't live from their passion. They are working, doing something they don't like, and they are playing guitar on the weekend because that's their passion. You don't need to be living from what you love, but you should always do what you love at the end of the day. So if tomorrow I don't live from flair anymore, I don't think I will ever stop. I love flaring, that I do a video for you guys or just for myself, picking up a bottle in the shaker, making a move. Even if I'm alone in the basement, it makes me extremely happy. It might be very sad, but
So how it is.
this is my passion. I really feel something when I have a bottle in the shaker in my hand, and this hasn't changed.